First time I hugged my father was at my high school graduation. I was damn near a man. But the little boy in me wanted to hold on so desperately despite awkwardly feeling like I was holding on to a stranger, which was ironic because I was always known as my father's doppelganger. When my mother saw me, I couldn't help but see a hint to stain in her eyes, you see, because her pain saw him. And that's why whenever I would hear shit like, "Look at you, you're just a chip off the old block, ain't you?" That shit would always leave a chip on my shoulder. I mean, not that I didn't like him, I just didn't want to be like him, the reflection of a man cast in mirrors that had been shattered by a rolling stone. So clearly he couldn't see himself clear enough to recognize God within himself, so why would I expect him to see me? I mean, perhaps in that shattered glass, he saw me as his reckoning without realizing that I was his blessing, his second chance to become a better man. I'll never know, just like I never knew if my love for him and his love for me was in sync or if it had just been rinsed off on a faucet of reality that drips nothingness into this empty basin. Like, I remember not remembering him, but recall seeing his chess move heartless, leaving me as a sacrifice piece in his manipulative game that he played to maintain his own peace. My father taught me how to play chess. And I focused on how he was moving so that I wouldn't become him, the type of man that uses queens as pawns. If he would have just taken those nights to focus on me, teach me how to take an L and turn it into my best move, or how to move as a black man in white spaces. You see, he captured my heart. But he took a rain check when it came to teaching me to reign as a king. I had to learn that shit on my own in this game of life, and now I can say proud with my whole chest that I am a king. And I wish I could say that was because of his presence as opposed to his absence, but perhaps he was practicing abstinence because he knew himself and he just didn't want to fuck things up. So from that perspective, I've since learned to appreciate our long-distance relationship. Grown as me, I still look forward to his calls, and 6-year-old me wondering if that notification sound could possibly be him. And then 17-year-old me chimes in to talk us off the ledge and back behind this flood wall that we built to protect us from a wave of expectations that I've seen in my mother's face so many times. The river that she cried, the same river where I learned is either sink or swim. Down in the deep end of rejection, I inhaled and held a deep breath of inflated emotions to keep my head above water and dog paddling until I became sure of myself. I tried to forget, but the receding floods left this watermark stain across my heart that reminds me how nice it would have been to have had him pick me up and dry me off under the sun, him raising me instead of me being a raisin in the sun like a dream deferred. Perhaps I wouldn't have felt so much like Langston Hughes with the motherfucking attitude. I don't even remember how to run it back now. No, I was so into it. What about raisins? Raisins, son? And the receding floods remind me how nice it would have been. But the receding floods left this watermark stain across my heart that reminds me how nice it would have been to have had him pick me up and dry me off under the sun, him raising me instead of me being a raisin in the sun like a dream deferred. Perhaps I wouldn't have felt so much like Langston Hughes with the motherfucking attitude. You see, I allowed that chip on my shoulder to grow bolder until it felt as though I was bearing the weight of the world on my shoulders, and at last, I let go and let it roll off by forgiving him, and that's when this chip off the old block became the cornerstone of the building blocks of this skyscraper of a man, but not tall enough to eclipse the light of being the sun. So no shade, Pops. It's all love.